And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Tuesday, December 10th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. We welcome you here on a Tuesday morning. Not so terrific, to be honest about it. We have a little rain that's still falling. It rained hard during the night. There could be snow on the way. Who knows? But we are on the air for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital here on a Tuesday morning that still offers the 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, which means less waiting where it matters most in the emergency room. In a medical emergency, every minute does matter. And so at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital right here in Lebanon, you'll find faster care in the emergency room. They do work diligently to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less. And with a team of dedicated medical specialists, they can provide a lot more care if you need it. I want to call your attention again to something we've mentioned a number of times recently, but the rehab center over at McFarland has been recognized as one of the top 10% of inpatient rehab facilities in the United States. It was awarded for efficient and effective care, and that is quite an honor to be in the top 10% in the whole USA, the rehab center over at McFarland. And from time to time, we do remind you at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital about hip and knee pain seminars, about the stroke support group that meets periodically, and about the bariatric support groups. Now, I don't have any on my schedule for right now, but you can always call the hospital and find out when the next one is if you're interested in this, and they'd love to have you come and be part of these when they occur. And with that, let me welcome from the city of Mount Juliet, City Manager Kenny Martin. Kenny Martin, good morning to you.
Good morning, Coleman.
Nice to have you here this morning. And we have the city liaison, Marty Potts, here. Marty, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Coleman.
We're glad to see you both, have somebody to talk to or whatever. Driving okay this morning?
Marty Potts is the best driver on the face of the planet. A lot of times driving and riding with Marty Potts is like, you ever been in a parade?
Yeah, once or twice.
Were you going slow enough you can just wave at everybody? If anybody accuses Marty Potts of speed, they are not telling the truth. He is, you know what, I commend him for it. He's an old policeman, and he is a safe driver. So you got us here safe, even in spite of the weather.
Okay. Well, the weather, it's just raining slightly out there right now. It's what's coming after, I guess, we're all concerned about a little bit. But most likely, to the east and the higher elevations is where there's more concern.
Exactly. Yeah, this time of year, you know, it's I don't know what they're expecting for this winter. You never know. Mother Nature's in charge, and we'll just deal with it as it comes. But I know it's pretty. It'd be great to snow on Christmas Day and be in the grass, but still allow everybody to get out and get around safely.
Well, I'm more like that gal from Florida inside the window there. When it snows, I want to be somewhere.
Exactly. The only time I liked school was like my wife before she retired from teaching. When I was a kid, of course, you wanted snow. You wanted to miss school or be out of school. And when you're a teacher, I assume a lot of teachers, you know, like getting a break as well. At least my wife did. And now it's just the opposite. She's like, well, I don't want it to snow. I know, because you can't do anything.
Well, what's been happening in the city of Mount Juliet? You had a Board of Commissioners meeting last night, which we'll get to, but you may have a thing or two you want to mention prior to that.
Yeah, just with Christmas coming up, you know, we talk about this a lot, and I think throughout the year we try to talk about it. You know, it used to be just special programs. We talk about the importance of shopping local and never get too old, and even more so now that as I've gotten older and watched the way that economic development works or retail works, is there's so much now with online shopping, and that really hurts the mom and pop businesses and local establishments. And I just can't encourage people enough to get out and shop local. In Watertown and Lebanon and Mount Juliet, anywhere out through the county, please shop local.
Well, I tell you what, the younger people seem to have taken that on. No way in the world I want to order something if I can go across town and buy it and look at it before I pay for it and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's just the way that I am. I understand the convenience of it, and it's only going to get more convenient. It's going to you'll get it same day right on your front porch.
I don't have to worry about porch pirates either.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just old-fashioned, I guess. I like going and actually patronizing the businesses, but I'm telling you, they need your support. You know, they're paying rent, they're paying, you know, for help and people and electricity and all the things. They need people to come in there and patronize their businesses. And just imagine if you invested, you know, your life savings or a lot of money, a huge sum of money to open a business to try to support other people in the community, make it more convenient for them. And then folks start, and I'm not totally opposed online. I get it. Some things you just can't get here. But if you can get it in Wilson County, I encourage you to shop at our local business. That really concerns me.
Well, I couldn't agree more. Marty, anything you want to add to that? I'm sure you agree.
I do agree. It's that time of year. I just want everybody to come out and be safe while you're shopping. Yeah. Be aware of your surroundings.
All right. Last night's meeting, was it any big headlines from your meeting?
No, nothing really. A couple of things. One of the things the city's looking at doing, our elected body in particular, we have a really good relationship with the Mount Jewett Little League, which is a private organization. It's a 501c3. Our city contributes quite a bit each year to them, but the moms and dads and the people that pay their dues and entry fees and things of that nature for their kids to play in the with Little League baseball, that pretty much funds that program. So the city gives them a stipend every year or a grant. And what they're looking at doing right now, they're lighting at the Little League fields, which is one of the largest programs in the state. It's old. It's the old iron oxide lighting, or whatever you call it, phosphate lighting, that if you cut them off, it takes 10 minutes for them to come back on. Yeah. And so the commission is looking at partnering with them and basically funding those lights and letting them pay those lights back over a period of time. It basically, I want to say, if I recall correctly, 0% interest. It helps them, instead of going out and getting that loan, doing that through the city, because our interest levels, as far as what we pay back, is much cheaper. So they passed.
What money are we talking about?
That's about $450,000, and that's to replace all of the lights in there. And so the hope is that. So we got one more meeting. They're going to talk about it and look at some different options. I'm going to be reaching out to Middle Tennessee Electric, see if there's any programs they've got available. But we're going to want to commend the commission, because they try to do things like that, even though this isn't a per se city park. You know, they try to do as much as they can for the kids. And so,
what do they call that? Something cares, where we round up.
That's right.
Bill. They might
be something out there.
Bucks there.
Exactly. So I've got it on my notes of things to do, because we're in between readings, is to reach out to them and see if there's something they could help with this, because they want to give back. So I thought that was one of the best things we did last night. Another thing we did is we had a local family, the Russell family. And we're blessed with this in a lot of ways, especially with our police and fire departments, that people in the community that either have relatives in the firefighting business or just huge supporters of fire and police periodically will make donations just from their hearts to give to those organizations to help offset some of the costs, or for them to buy additional equipment like, heat thermal imaging equipment or weapons. I remember back when I was police chief, we started this Adopt a Cop program, and through that program, the goal was to get one rifle. It was one rifle for one officer, because we didn't have at the time. We raised $85,000. And so that started off, we were able to get every officer a rifle and a shotgun and a lock. And that shows you that people will give back. Well, since that time, of course, the city has become more prosperous, and we can afford those things now. So there's never an officer that's out there that doesn't have those tools that they essentially need, including their bulletproof vest. So that's the kind of things that, it's a very giving community, and people are very giving, not only for that, but even like our animal control station, our center, we call it our animal control and care center. There's so many people that just give to that. And thank goodness you have people with philanthropic hearts, because a lot of things cities and counties just couldn't afford to do. Yeah. Just like volunteers. We have an abundance of volunteers at our police department and our fire departments and our animal control, and we couldn't do it without them.
Yeah, and we see a lot of that in our schools, too.
Exactly. In Mount Jewett, having Dale Webb, and it's funny. Mount Jewett one time was an older community, and it got a little bit younger, and now it's getting a little bit older, and that's actually a blessing for us, because, give you an example, there's Dale Webb, and then there's another community looking to come to Mount Jewett, and the commission has faced some concern from citizens, because you're talking about 561 new homes. One thing good about this particular subdivision is it's age restricted, meaning the majority of people that are retired or won't have any kids that are in schools. So it's not the impact there. And those are considerations that the city has to think about all the time.
Marty, anything you want to add to the discussion so far? You are you're a very attentive listener, it seems.
Well, I would like to just invite everyone out this Saturday at 11 o'clock to come out and join them at the Christmas parade. It starts at 11 o'clock. It will start from West Wilson Middle School and go all the way to Charlie Daniels Park. Right now, we're looking at about 80 floats. So it's going to be one of our biggest ones.
Are you in charge of that, Benny?
No, sir. That would be the Parks Department in charge of that, and they do a wonderful job every year.
Yeah. This Saturday?
That's this Saturday at 11 o'clock. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Anything else before we go to a break?
Well, before we go to the break, if your kids like Toy Story, they'll want to come to this parade.
No.
So if you've got little ones that like that and they want to dress up in their costumes, whatever, and see a lot of their favorite, characters, they'll want to come to it. It's a Toy Story Christmas.
What's the forecast look like this week?
It's a little questionable right now. I was looking at the weather last night, and they're talking about some potential rain, so I'm going to be getting with the parks director today. And we've had that in years past and ended up holding off. So to see if we've got a backup plan just in case. But you know what? People are festive, and sometimes rain or not, they'll come out.
Okay, our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and we'll take a break here on Coleman and Company FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:14. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford and the Lifetime Brake Pad Guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns the vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Well, good morning. It seems like the weather's just getting worse, turning into sleet there, coming in from West Nashville. Be careful this morning. Give yourself plenty of extra travel time. Ellington Parkway at Cleveland Street, that's one of the latest wrecks. Harding Place right at the interstate. 6900 block of Charlotte. Pike on a crash. 200 block of Stewart's Ferry and Donaldson. Heavy now on 40 East trying to get up through Kingston Springs, coming in from, let's say, Dixon County. That's pretty bad out there in that area, so give yourself extra time. Hey, if you're looking for holiday cash, Choice Cash has a way to borrow up to $10,000. Call now, 1-800-658-9816. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
It's a new day at Lebanon Health and Rehabilitation. Lebanon Health and Rehabilitation has experienced new leadership, a new atmosphere at the same location in the heart of Lebanon, located at 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Health and Rehabilitation is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. It's a new day at Lebanon Health Care and Rehabilitation.
As the regular season winds down, the heat is turned up for the Titans as they host the Houston Texans. The award-winning Titans countdown happens at 11. It's an AFC South Division battle with a kickoff at noon with the voice of the Titans, Mike Heath, and Coach Dave McGinnis.
Brought to you by Absolute Kubota Exmark, Bates Ford, Fakes and Hooker, Steve Moore Plumbing, and the Jewelers.
This is Wilson County's home for real country music and the Tennessee Titans. Real Country 98.9.
Coleman and Company here on this Tuesday morning. We welcome you to our audience, and certainly we welcome our friends from Mount Julius this morning. Kenny Martin, who's the city manager. We have Marty Potts, who's the city liaison. Now, I guess back to your meeting last night.
Yeah, something else that came up last night. We had an ordinance amending the fiscal year budget to basically accept insurance funds to replace 3 or 4 of our police squad cars. And unfortunately, the majority of these cars have been struck by folks that just weren't simply paying attention. I know it sounds critical and it seems like I'm being harsh, but we have far too many police officers. We've been fortunate we hadn't had any of our other emergency type vehicles like fire trucks and all that hit, but we've had 2 or 3 situations recently really alarming. There was somebody that was a police chief and we lost the 2 officers in the line of duty due to what it wasn't even an accident. It was basically totally the opposite of that at the time, but I don't think people mean to, but when you run into police cars when they've got traffic blocked for a wreck that's on the interstate. In one particular case, the officer had somebody arrested that was in the back of the car, and they estimated the speed to be somewhere between 50 and 70 miles an hour that the police car got hit and struck. And the lights were on and the lanes were blocked on the interstate, and that concerns me, of course, as it should anybody. We really have to pay attention when not only see emergency vehicles, but also public works workers. Marty's over our city beautification and codes department, and I notice a lot of times that folks will pay attention to the police and fire. The majority of people are really good about that. Unfortunately, some, they're just distracted. In one particular case, somebody was reaching down in the floorboard to retrieve something. They could have waited till they got past the police officers. It can wait. Yeah. But I notice a lot of times for the other service workers, public service workers that have the amber lights, record drivers, public works, things of that nature, that they don't get the same level of attention and respect. And I hate to say that, but that's true. If you see anybody, including just somebody broke down on the side of the road that has their emergency flashers on, state law says you're supposed to move over. Because if you've ever been in that situation, you're on the side of the road, trust me, as a former police officer, it's harrowing enough when you have blue lights. I can only imagine, some person that's pulled over that just has their flashers on, they're trying to change a flat tire, and it's right on that white line.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that law also says if you can't pull over, you're supposed to slow down.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
Slow down a lot.
A lot. And I just, even myself, I've got a little light bar on my truck, and a lot of times we're out picking up debris and stuff out of the road. And the reason we do that is people will swerve to avoid debris. A lot of times they don't see it. Say you're the vehicle that's in front and you swerve. Well, the person behind you doesn't see it, and they strike it. So we find everything from chunks of metal that we could literally blow a tire, sever your oil tank or your gas tank. We're constantly picking those things up because they're accident hazards. Well, a lot of times when you're picking those things up, it's just amazing that the people that just won't yield, won't slow down. And that's scary as well. So I don't think you can ever emphasize that enough, that there's lots and lots of people out there that don't even have amber lights, just have flashing lights because they've broken down. And we encourage people to slow down and move over.
We're all in a hurry.
Yep. And I wouldn't have mentioned that.
Nearly everybody's in a hurry.
Yes, and I wouldn't have mentioned that, but we have that, had that on the agenda last night to replace 3 cars. And when that happens, it sounds minor because insurance will cover it, but the problem is it never covers all of it. If there's a percentage that the taxpayers still have to foot that difference because the vehicles have aged. And
well, another thing, I know a little bit about insurance. I know that if you have a lot of claims, your rates probably go up.
That's exactly right. So we try to retrieve as much as we can. If there's an accident, say, that doesn't involve a city vehicle, it's just a citizen, and they've struck a telephone pole or a guardrail or other city or government property, we try to turn that into their insurance company as well. Because if not, I'll give you an example. One section of guardrail was hit recently, and in years past, before we started this program to bird dog these things, we would have repaired that and would have never traced it back to the person who actually did it. And we've literally saved probably tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars just by going back and holding those that damaged the property originally, because if not, that gets passed on to the taxpayers.
Yeah. So your insurance probably appreciates that because they didn't have to show
That's exactly right. And we, over the years, we've done that, but in recent years, we've gotten a lot better about it because officers are very cognizant that when they're out there working an accident, if they see that some type of government property, be it Middle Tennessee Electric, county, city, state, federal, you name it, we want to get that noted in the reports, and then we follow up immediately to see it. Now, unfortunately, sometimes the person that created the damage doesn't have insurance, and you're at a loss then.
Yeah.
But just very important, especially this time of year with getting dark so early in the evening. Be careful. We heard the tragic story yesterday about, I think it was a mom and maybe a small child. I want to say they were walking to school, and the mom was struck and killed. Right. And you just have to be very careful of that. A lot of our streets in the city and the county don't have sidewalks, and people are trying to walk. Maybe it's the only opportunity they've got to get their kids where they need to get them to, or even get to work. And you just got to be careful.
Marty, I want to. You've been here before a little bit, but not anywhere much as Kenny. How long you been? Did you grow up in Mount Juliet?
I didn't grow up in Mount Juliet. I moved to Mount Juliet in 1996.
Yeah.
I started with the city in 2005. When I started with the city in 2005, I was with the Public Works Department. And I've worked with the Public Works Department, I've worked with the Police Department and Parks, and now I'm with the City Liaison position. I've been doing this job now for a little over a year.
Were you a policeman at the time?
I was a reserve officer at one time.
All right.
And I was also animal control, so that's still under the Police Department.
We might could call you Jack of all trades.
Well, that's very possible. I know a little bit about several things. So
what are your chief responsibilities as city liaison?
City liaison is I get a lot of calls. People want to know, they're not sure who they need to talk to, so I direct them who they need to talk to, or they may call in and say, we've called such and such department and we haven't got a response. So I try to get them in contact with who they need to be contacted with. Then I have guys that work with me, and we go out, we pick up trash. We take care of anything that's got to do with like our banner poles, get them straightened up. Just recently we had some cars run over some of our pots along our railroad track, and we had to get that all cleaned up and get that taken care of as well. So we try to get the city looking great.
Yeah. Well, I was just thinking here as you were talking, I don't know how much you are into sports or how much a Golden Bear fan you might be, but I was thinking Lebanon and Mount Juliet boys, I believe, were both undefeated before last Friday night. And unfortunately for us, Lebanon, Mount Juliet won that one, but I guess you're still undefeated.
Yep.
Yeah. Got a good thing going there.
We do have it. Yeah, sure do.
Okay, back to you, Kenny. Anything else from last night's meeting?
Yeah, I want to brag on Marty. I mean, Marty's been with us about 15 years. He's phenomenal. He's a heck of a human being. And what's so good about Marty is, and the reason he's perfect for this position is he's got a wonderful bedside manner. And the goal is, if anybody's ever dealt with governments before, a lot of times if you're trying to call to figure out who it is you need to talk to get something done, that it's not that we make it tough. It just can be hard. So Marty's job is, if there's uncertainty, call Marty, and what Marty will do is he'll take care of it for you. For example, if you call and say, I got a codes issue and I don't really know who to call, Marty will say, I got this. Yeah. And so what he'll do is he'll come out, look at your issue, and he'll figure out the appropriate person to talk to, which department it is, and then get it done. Yeah. And that's the difference, and that is so important, and that's why we have this. A lot of people say, what does a city liaison do? It gives you that kind voice that you know that you can call, and even if you're upset at something. Sometimes we do drop the ball unintentionally, and when that happens we're going to make it right. And I appreciate Marty. Sometimes in our haste, you can take one another for granted, but he's a blessing to me and a blessing to the city. And if you need something done in Mount Juliet, call Marty Potts.
Well, I bet you really do enjoy being able to help people, though.
I love interacting. I do. I love interacting with people. That's probably the favorite part of my job. If I can find that one person to help that they need, then I feel that I'm justified in what I'm doing. Yeah. So.
We got 5 minutes, Kenny.
I tell you what, Rocky Lee, our parks director, is listening. I think we shook him out of bed this morning. We called about 6:45. I just assumed, to be honest with you, that this guy was already at work. So apparently we were enlightened when we woke him up. So he's out there listening, so we can cut up with him. But no, Rocky Lee, our parks director, is phenomenal. We had a workshop last night, and what we're trying to do is get some feedback from our citizens in Mount Juliet. We're debating whether or not to expand our parks program, not necessarily Charlie Downs Park, but our parks program in general, and looking at the potential. We're just studying at this particular time to determine if the cost is worth the investment for the city of adding like racquetball courts, some more indoor type courts, maybe a multi-purpose type court inside. And maybe even a swimming pool. Of course, there's a lot of studying we've got to do to get to that on whether or not it makes sense, it's a feasible thing to do or not. And we want to do something that's smart, that doesn't pass those costs on to the taxpayers. So we got a lot of work to do. But if you live in the city limits of Mount Juliet and something like that interests you, good, bad, or indifferent, let us know. I mean, call on myself or call on Mr. Potts or call Mr. Lee in particular, his staff, and give us some feedback on if you think that's something that you would want or feel like is unnecessary.
Well, a swimming pool would probably be a wonderful thing, but I'm sitting here thinking your initial investment is quite a bit, but it doesn't end there. There's a lot of maintenance and upkeep for a swimming pool.
You're exactly right. We've had those same conversations, and our thing is you can't be everything to everybody, and people will only want to pay for what they're willing to pay for, and we get that. But, a lot of times cities will just think, hey, let's just build all this stuff. And you forget, the taxpayers have to pay for it, and what percentage of taxpayers will actually utilize it. And if you don't have it, there are places where they can use that, and that's tough. Yeah. You're trying to please everybody. You really want to provide every service you can, but we're studying that. Doesn't mean it'll happen. Doesn't mean it won't. We've been down this path before, and oftentimes we say, it's just not really the move we need to make this particular time. But if you want to give us some feedback and you live in the city limits, give us a call about that. But other than that, speaking of businesses, I think there was one other thing on here I was going to mention. No, I think that was it. But the thing I want to talk about again as we close is new businesses coming to Mount Juliet. One of those is Project Sam. I think everybody knows at this particular time what that business is. Marty and I were talking about this morning. We're still going to refuse to say who it is, even though everybody knows.
Oh, Project Sam.
Yes.
That's one of them code names.
The code name. We're going to go with that until the company itself makes its official announcement. But it's been in every paper, so it's out there. Everybody that's listening this morning knows who it is. But
so everybody else can talk about it, call it name, but you can't.
Yeah. So we're going to keep the Project Sam going until the company makes its official announcement. But it's all over the place. We're excited about that. We understand not everybody is. We get that. But it's going to be a beautiful building, about $500 million investment when it's all said and done, somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 jobs. They're adding a greenway. They donated 5 acres to the city of Mount Juliet for a future
1,000 to 2,000 jobs?
Could be, yep. Wow. Yeah, you'll hear all kinds of fluctuating numbers, but the highest could be 2,000, the lowest could be 1,000.
Well, 1,000, that's a lot of additional people, and some you're not going to. they're not going to totally raid the workforce in Mount Juliet for that. There'll be some other people coming from other places.
Exactly,
so
and
you're going to grow some more.
Exactly, and they're good paying jobs. And what's exciting about that, I was giving somebody an example recently that my son, when he got out of college, he was like anybody else. He's looking to start his life. He got married. We got 2 grandbabies now. We got one right now. We got one to come on Thursday this week. So I'm excited about that. And the exciting thing about these jobs are my son works in Smyrna at the Nissan plant. Well, had that opportunity not been provided in Smyrna, my son wouldn't have his job and wouldn't be in a position to be able to provide for his family. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So if we have jobs in Mount Juliet and not everybody that lives in Mount Juliet works there, and it's people from other surrounding communities, that's great as well because it gives them a livelihood to be able to spend that money elsewhere too. My son doesn't spend all of his money in Mount Juliet. He probably spends it other places.
When's this announcement coming?
I would say any time now. Yeah. Literally any time. I would say probably over the next couple of weeks. But it's out there. Everybody knows who it is. But it's a blessing for our community because there's lots of communities across this country and even in Tennessee that would love to get something like that. So we're blessed. We're blessed in so many ways. And if I was to say anything, there's lots of people out there this time of year. It's Christmas for us, and a lot of us are celebrating. I don't want to end on a sad note, but there's a lot of people that needs help, a lot of people that don't have a lot of the blessings that other people have. So please keep them in mind. Check on the shut-ins. Help people that are in need to make sure that everybody has a blessed Christmas this year.
Want to thank you all for being with us today. Marty Potts, good to have you and find out a little bit more about the city liaison and the good job you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
Come back anytime. And Kenny Martin, always glad to have you here because you like to talk.
Merry Christmas, Coleman.
Thank you. We'll remind you our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and we will take a break here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:29. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Absolute Kubota and Rental Land Pride. Quality tractor implements including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well-built. 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. With the weather deteriorating out here, sleet moving in parts of West Nashville, please give yourself extra time and use caution. It's already busy down Ellington Parkway as they work that wreck there at Cleveland Street on Ellington Parkway. 6900 block to Charlotte Pike out west. Heavy traffic flow trying to make its way up through Williamson County, Franklin, into Brentwood now on 65 going north. It's heavy, but it's also moving through Mount Juliet right now, coming in from Wilson County into Hermitage. Prince's Hot Chicken is the original hot chicken in Middle Tennessee. Check it out, 5814 Nolensville Pike. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on-time traffic.
Vanderbilt Health is honored to announce the newest addition to our family of hospitals, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital in Lebanon. This hospital will provide care for Wilson County residents with the goal of improving the health and well-being of our newest community. Hospitals are for healing, new life, and recovery. They're places of innovation and learning. At the end of the day, hospitals are all about one thing: community. Thank you for welcoming us into yours. Let's do great things together.
Why settle for an ordinary mower when you can have an Exmark zero-radius turn mowers that have been beautifying landscapes for more than 3 decades? Take advantage of Exmark's Triple Play sales event. Buy now and you'll pay no interest till March. No payment till April, plus $1,000 off all Radius X and S models. Buy now and restart your warranty till April 2020. Top landscape pros purchase Exmark 2-to-1 over the next best-selling brand. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Absolute Kubota at 1325 West Main in Lebanon or visit them online at www.absolutekubota.com.
You'll want to have that umbrella with you again for your Tuesday. Showers will be with us as we go through the day. It'll be a cold rain. Highs will top out in the mid-40s this afternoon. If you're going to be out and about this evening, we will stay soggy. Later on after dark, we could see some snowflakes mixing in. Some clouds stick around after that, with lows topping out in the mid-20s. That's your forecast. I'm meteorologist Nisa Lomax.
Coleman and Company, welcome on a Tuesday morning. We're ready to talk about Hearthside Senior Living. Sean Dozier's here and got a couple of guests today. Sean, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. How are you?
I'm doing well.
It's great to be here.
Just, it's in a way, it's a terrific Tuesday.
It's a regular Tuesday, terrific
the weather's
Tuesday.
Not so terrific.
No, it's still raining out there a little bit, but it's a great day to be here. And I brought Betty Kelly with me. You know Betty, she comes when I'm not available sometimes. But we also brought Ann Lemoyne, and I'll let them talk here in just a minute. They got an event coming up next Monday, and wanted to promote that, but also wanted to thank everybody for coming out last Thursday. We had a great business after hours with the chamber. I appreciate all the folks at the chamber coming out. We also had a lot of folks from different churches come out to support us. Our families, residents came out. We had a great crowd at our clubhouse, and it was a Christmas at Hearthside. It was an annual event, and it was a great turnout. So I appreciate that.
I'll bet you that clubhouse was full.
It was full. It was full. We had four houses opened up, and we had several people tour the homes, and they were gorgeous. Anne was one of those homes, and she does a great job decorating her home. So I appreciate everybody coming out. But real quickly, I wanted to introduce Betty and let Betty talk about the event coming up next Monday with Anne.
Morning, Coleman.
Good morning, Betty. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too. Monday night at 5:30, we'll be having the Tip Top Tappers, which is a chair tip tap group.
Okay.
Anyway, and all the people are from Hearthside, from the assisted living, who range from 78 to 93.
98.
98.
98.
Right. 98 is our oldest one. And Anne Lemoyne, she is our teacher and instructor, and she does a great job. And so I'm going to turn it over to her and let you.
Yep. Well, tell us, welcome to our program.
Thank you very much.
Tell us all about this.
Well, I moved here from Denver, Colorado last year, and I was taking senior tap dancing, being of that age. And I asked Betty if there might be some ladies that would enjoy doing something for their Christmas show that would involve using walkers. And she queried them, and they said no. Yep. And I said, well, why? And she said, they're scared. I said, well, how about tap dancing sitting in chairs? And so we tap danced sitting in chairs. And last year at Christmas, they did one song, one tap dance, and two sort of songs. And this year they're doing 5 dances with tap shoes, and one of them is Jingle Bell Rock. So they have come a long way. And there's, depending on how they feel that day, because at our ages we all ache a lot of places, but we could have 13 dancers. And they're wonderful. They're a great inspiration. One of them turned 98 last week. And she said, should I quit now? And I said, no, the reason you're still dancing is that you're still dancing, So they say for young people, act your age, but when you get to our age, you don't act your age. You got to act something else.
And the youngest is 78?
Probably about that. Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's wonderful, and it's just a great event for people to come out and watch them dance.
All right, now is everybody invited?
Everybody's invited. It's next Monday at 5:30 in our dining room. If you haven't seen it yet, it's an amazing sight. Anne Lemoyne is a gift to our community. She moved here, as she said, from Denver. She moved into our independent retirement community, has a wonderful home down there, and she has been so active with our folks in the assisted living, and this is one of those events that she's done 2 or 3 of these already, and this is a big one. So it's next Monday night, 5:30 in the dining room. And if you just want to be supportive of our seniors and see something very interesting, come out next Monday night.
Well, I gotta ask Ann this: your transition here to Lebanon. I hope that's been good. It sounds like it's been wonderful.
It's been fabulous for me. I have a daughter that lives in Brush Creek and a son-in-law who's wonderful and 2 grandsons. And this gentleman right here just assured me it will not snow tonight by 8:20 because I take clogging. I'm a beginning clogger. And I have my clogging classes tonight, and I don't want to miss.
Well, to say the least, you're still going strong. Betty, anything else from you?
We've got a lot of events happening between now and Christmas, and we have a lot of special guests coming, and it never is a boring time.
Well, it's I'm sure you're fairly busy all the time. Sound like you're really busy this time of year.
Oh yeah, Christmas time is a pretty big deal for us. A lot of people from the community like to come out and carol and bring little gifts for the residents and things like that. So it's a very busy time.
And for you, never a dull moment.
That's right. Never a dull moment.
Sean, you can have the last
We'll
word.
close out with a Hearthside hello.
Right.
I saw Tiffy Clemens Saturday, so I wanted to say hello to Tiffy Tucker Clemens. Many people know her by that. So Hearthside hello to Tiffy Clemens.
How's Tiffy doing?
She's doing great. She is doing great. Yeah. I had a good conversation with her. Saturday. So hello to her.
All right. Well, I guess that will
That
do
was
it
it.
this
Yeah,
morning.
thank
Well,
you.
it's good to have all three of you here. And that's it for Hearthside Senior Living, Retirement and Assisted Living Community, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North. Sean Dozier is the Executive Director. See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.
Thank you. Okay, we're about
very
22
much.
before the hour, and Scott Benson joins us this morning to talk about one of his favorite things, that being the Lebanon Special School District.
Yes, sir, Coleman. It is one of my favorite things.
It's not your only favorite thing, but it's one of them.
But it's definitely one of them. Good morning to you. Good to be here.
Well, I guess you haven't had any hard decision to make this morning, really.
If not, I want to clarify something too. Miss Ann here, who was referring to me, I did not say that it was not going to snow. I just said that the roads would be clear so she could make her event this evening. But yeah, we've been monitoring the weather, of course, and we started that yesterday. Looking forward to today, and as always, we've communicated with others and in house, and WEMA does a terrific job of giving us information. Received an email from them, a couple of them yesterday, actually. In particular, I always appreciate Daniel Cowan. Mm-hmm. I can always call him or text him, and he can give me good information as well. But yeah, I think we're in really good shape today. I think we will see some weather. Matter of fact, I felt a little sleet coming in your office in the radio station this morning, Coleman. But I think the temperatures are going to be at the point where roads are going to be safe, and we're going to be in good shape. And looking at the temperature throughout the day. Of course, just late last night, we were in the 60s, mm-hmm. And throughout the day, I think we're going to be above freezing until about 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. So I think the precipitation will wane off somewhere around dismissal or something today. So I think we're in good shape, but it makes for an exciting time. I know people like to talk about it. The media really builds it up, and especially the TV stations.
Yeah, you got it. Especially the TV.
They like to talk about it and get everybody excited. And I've had phone calls and text, even this morning, asking me about the weather and what we're going to do. I think most of them, they were just giving me a hard time, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but for right now, so far so good.
So far so good. I think we're in good shape with the weather.
What else is going on? Do you have a board meeting last night?
We've got it tonight.
Tonight.
We typically meet, as you well know, on the second Monday, but we had a conflict with one of the board members, so we didn't see an issue with moving that. We did that ahead of time. We scheduled it a month ago. So we actually meet tonight with our board meeting. So we'll meet tonight at Winfrey Bryant Middle School at 5 o'clock for our board meeting. But in response to your question, a lot going on right now, Coleman. You said what's happening in the school district, and of course we got a board meeting tonight and many activities. I thought I would talk about that today, so I've actually brought my weekly calendar. I get a weekly calendar that Wendy in our office produces for me every week where I can keep up with everything mm-hmm. going on in the schools, and especially busy this time of year, as you might imagine, with Christmas events, holiday events. We have concerts going on at many of our schools. I know, and looking at my calendar here, we have band and choir concerts tonight at both middle schools, at Winfrey Bryant Middle School as well as Walter J. Baird Middle School. So both of those start at 6:30 tonight. For those out there in radio land that are interested in middle school bands play at Winfrey Bryant.
Well, no doubt parents and siblings take this in really well, and probably grandparents, even great-grandparents.
This is true.
Otherwise, I don't know, but
point taken. I'm reading between the lines there, and you would be correct. Yeah, not a lot of folks come out to those other than family members and school folks. Students and teachers will come out to support those students. But it would be a fun time if anybody wanted to go out.
But don't you have a little bit more of this and just general activity that maybe you did 20, 30 years ago?
I think so. Yeah, we've got activities, and I could keep going. We've got tonight a fifth grade living history night at Castle Heights Elementary. That starts at 5:45. We've got a Christmas program at Sam Houston tonight. That starts at 6 o'clock. So, and it looks like that throughout the week. And then I know some of our schools had programs last week as well. So,
well, let me say this. I don't want to minimize that at all, because I think getting those students to participate, and even if mostly family and grandparents and that sort of thing come, encourage that, to show support. But it's not something maybe that the whole community is going to turn out for, but it still is very important, and it's very good for them to be able to express themselves and to learn from doing this.
Absolutely. And we want our students to be involved, and we want to offer opportunities for our students to be involved, whether it's elementary or middle school. And those students work hard, and they prepare for hours and practice for those events. So we're very proud of our students, and would invite folks to come out if they have the opportunity to do that. But I know the families and students in those schools and the staffs there at the schools will be very proud of those students.
Well, one other thing too, Scott, encouragement can mean so much. You get up there and you do your best, and then somebody has come to see you, and they congratulate you. You did a good job. Hopefully you did, and you learn and you move on and do bigger and better things.
Absolutely, and I can give you an example of that. I try to attend events periodically and throughout the school year. Last week, I attended 2 basketball games, one at Walter J. Baird Middle School and one at Winfrey Bryant Middle School. And at both places, there were teachers there that really didn't have a son or daughter involved, but they were there to support their students. And that forms relationships, positive relationships, and gives teachers an opportunity to make a connection with their students, to make comments on the ball game, to talk about the ball game the next day. And it's very important for our students to see our teachers at events like that, supporting them. So that's a great example. I appreciate you bringing that up, Coleman. And our teachers know that and try to do that all the time. And so I was pleased to see that last week when I was out and about and watching our teams play basketball. I'll mention this as well, Coleman. At Winfrey Bryant, the rest of this week, they're hosting a basketball tournament. So it'll be going on every night this week at Winfrey Bryant Middle School. And so they're both teams, boys and girls, are playing. Our wrestling teams are wrestling as well, as a winter sport. We have a combined team of students from Walter J. Baird and Winfrey Bryant Middle School that make up our Lebanon special team. Hey, one thing I'll mention as well, since we're on the topic of sports and basketball, our Blue League basketball is in the middle of their season as well. That's our elementary basketball league, and that started Coleman probably 8-9 years ago, something like that, with all of our elementary schools in the district, to include Carroll Oakland and Tucker's Crossroads. And that's been a positive for Lebanon High School. And Larry Joe Inman was instrumental in starting that. Larry Joe and Jim McDowell at Lebanon High School. And that was the thinking behind it. They wanted to get students, children, playing basketball at an earlier age and gain that experience. And so Lebanon High School is paying off the dividends of that right now, and they're enjoying some success there at the high school. But that's a great opportunity for our elementary students to have school spirit and to be a part of a team and to support a team. And
have a lot of fun, too.
To have a lot of fun, and we have cheerleaders as well, so that's always a big deal.
Okay, we need to take a break right here. Scott Benson's Director of Schools for the Lebanon Special School District. Scott and I will talk more after this on Coleman & Company, FM 98.9.
It is now 7:48. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford, the Works Vehicle Checkup. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation, and safety check. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Well, good morning. Sleet coming down pretty hard out here in certain areas. Give yourself extra time. There's just been a wreck with injuries in Hermitage 40 eastbound near OHB. That's going eastbound. The heaviest flows coming westbound out of Wilson County, Mount Juliet area, headed into Hermitage. There's a wreck being cleared at Ellington Parkway at Cleveland Street. Slow go coming in from Dixon County. They're getting hit really hard with some ice on 40, up and down I-40 there in Kingston Springs. Hey, it's better to know them than not know them. Free at last bell bonds. If you ever need them, call 242-3733. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's unique senior living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Coleman and Company here on this Tuesday morning. We're glad to have you with us, and we're certainly glad to have Scott Benson, who's Director of Schools for the Lebanon Special School District. He comes here just about once a month throughout the year, but busy time now, as you've already alluded to. A couple more weeks, I guess, and then a break?
We go through next Friday. Next Friday will be an abbreviated day for us, so we'll dismiss about 10 o'clock. In the morning. It's about a 2-hour day, and then we'll be off for a few weeks for the holiday. It doesn't
seem impossible that we're at that. This year's nearly over.
It doesn't seem possible. It really goes fast.
Today is the 10th of December.
It sure does. Yeah. It goes really fast. So, important time this week and next week that we're going to get in all these activities that we're talking about, and we're still going to have school, and we're still going to be teaching and learning as well for over the next couple of weeks. So, a busy time.
Well, I think you're very proud of the proud in the right way, appreciation of what you've been able to accomplish, you and your team here, and the results have been good. Your test scores have been good. Not that you don't have some room to grow, but it seems like education is thriving here in Wilson County, and I think especially in your district.
It is. And matter of fact, I spoke to the group from Leadership Wilson this past week. It was their education day, and so they traveled around to many buildings throughout the county, and I alluded to that we're fortunate here in Wilson County because we have strong educational systems, strong public schools, both in Wilson County schools and Lebanon Special School District, and we've got strong private schools in the area as well. And Cumberland University, we're very fortunate to have Cumberland University here in Wilson County and Lebanon. So we're proud of our folks, like you said, and we've enjoyed positive results over the last several years when it comes to test scores and accountability. We did go down just a little bit this year, Coleman, and what we were used to, but I think we had set ourselves up with such tremendous growth over the last several years. It had to level off at some point, and it did do that. But we're working hard every day. Our teachers are working with our students, and so we're very proud of the work they put in and the results that we receive as well.
Well, before I forget, and this may be interrupting in a way, but I just want to kind of a progress report on what's happening out Coles Ferry Pike at Hartman Drive.
Yeah, we're moving right along. I think I may have mentioned that we were experiencing a few issues with the dirt and the rock and those sorts of things with our excavation going on that was requiring our construction folks to work a little harder, I think, than maybe they thought they were going to have to. But they've they brought in a rock crusher, and they're I don't think we anticipated that when we first started, but we're moving right along. I think we're on schedule. They've been working into early evening hours on a lot of nights as well to try to stay on track. And we sometime in January, I don't know the exact date, but that's when we were supposed to wrap up the first phase of excavation, and we could move on to the next phase of the project. But we're on target for that, as far as I know, and making progress. A lot of activity. I don't know how often you drive by
To be honest, I haven't been by there.
Okay.
Not even once since you started, I don't think.
Okay.
I've got to go.
I go at least once a week, and sometimes I'll just drive by and peek on them otherwise. But a lot of activity. We've had a lot of people on site, a lot of machinery on site, and so we're making good progress there, and looking forward to continuing that project. It's exciting. It's an exciting thing to go through and to experience. So,
well, the last time you were here, you talked about the name of it and the name of the mascot name for the new school, and I wonder you've already had some feedback at that time, but probably you've gotten a lot more. Is it pretty positive?
It's overwhelmingly positive, Coleman. It sure is. Yeah.
Jones Brummett Elementary,
and we are the Hawks. With our school colors being navy blue and emerald green. And so, as you well know, the name Jones Brummett, as well as the Hawks, has a significant meaning in the Lebanon Special School District. And again, we have a history of doing that in our school district with school names. When you look at Byers Dowdy and Winfrey Bryant,
right.
As others, but Mr. Jones and Mr. Brummett have served the school district for many, many years. Mr. Jones is the board chair and has been on the board since 1988 and the board chair since 92. And Mr. Brummett spent his career in the Lebanon Special School District as a teacher and administrator, and became superintendent in '89 and served in that capacity until '05, and became a board member in '08, and currently serves as a board member. So a really unparalleled service to the district there when you look at that. And so really glad I could be a part of a district that recognizes those two gentlemen for their service to the district, and Gay Hawks, who is a longtime educator and instructional supervisor in our district with the Hawks mascot. So that's exciting, and we're really happy that it worked out that way.
And I'll bet all three of those are very pleased too. And I know Gay a little bit, used to know her. I haven't seen her in a long time,
right.
but she's got to just be just thrilled that you would think of her in this way.
You know, I think she is. I think that we invited her to our last board meeting when we announced that. And that would have been our November board meeting. And we didn't tell her really why she was coming. We sort of made up a story to get her there. But I think that night she was in shock. She was very pleased. She was very humbled, but she was sort of in shock. That was a pretty big announcement. But she sent me an email the next day, very nice, very appreciative. And she did tell me that she was shocked last night and didn't really know how to handle herself, but wanted me to know how appreciative she was, and that she was going to pull herself together here soon and show appreciation and let us know how much she appreciates that. But one comment that stood out in the email, Coleman, of course, she's been retired for several years now. I think Gay retired from the district in 06, 05, 06. And she indicated how pleased she was to be connected again to the Lebanon Special School District. Right. So that was very touching. Yeah.
Well, let me ask something else. You always seem to have these enrollment numbers. I'm wondering if you've added any, dropped any.
We have. We've added some over the last few weeks. We've gone over 4,000, and we talked about that for several months leading into the school year. And we have, I think, 4,011 is the count I had a few days ago. So we have surpassed that, and so we're continuing to experience the growth here in Wilson County as expected. Thus, we're building a new school as we need that. So, yeah, we monitor that, and speaking of monitoring numbers, I was in a conversation. I had somebody ask me this yesterday, somebody from the community, about our sickness and illness. I know that's going around a lot.
Right, yes.
We actually were helped by Thanksgiving break. We had experienced in our district, especially in 3 of our schools, a few weeks before Thanksgiving. It hit us really hard. Our absentee numbers were high to the point where we were monitoring those every day, and we were starting to have conversations hey, are we going to let out of school here? Could we have a long weekend? How could this work out? But we sort of leveled off there, and we hung on to the Thanksgiving break, and that really helped our numbers there. We came back to normal absentee numbers after Thanksgiving. Now, we're still experiencing some illness, and so we're having some students that are sick, but nowhere near where we were 2 or 3 weeks before Thanksgiving. For whatever reason, it hit us hard then.
So if you can make it for the rest of this week and next week.
That's correct. We've got another little break for everybody to stay away from everybody and hopefully get well again.
Scott, we got 2.5 minutes left. You're not looking at the clock, but I am always.
Okay.
Anything else you think of that you want to mention?
I'll talk about our agenda a little bit for the
Yeah, and I was going to ask, that'd be good. Tonight's agenda, we've got a few things on tap. We'll have our spotlight on students. Winfrey Bryant students will be there tonight to present to the board. I always enjoy hearing from our students at board meetings. Tonight's our annual Friends of Education meeting, where all of our schools recognize Friends of Education, both an individual and a business that have been have the volunteer spirit and have helped our schools in different ways. So I'll mention those quickly before we're out of time. At Byers Dowdy, they're going to recognize tonight Heather Mitchell and also West Hills Baptist Church. And at Castle Heights, they're going to recognize Leah Shanks as well as Drycon as a business. And then at Coles Ferry, they're going to recognize Joyce Fitzpatrick as well as Smile Solutions here in town. And Sam Houston Elementary will recognize Megan McHenry as well as the Bridge Fellowship. At Walter J. Baird, they're going to recognize Carol Locke as well as Catherine's Orchestra. And at Winfrey Bryant, they're going to recognize Jason Hobbs as well as Wilson Bank and Trust. So we certainly appreciate our community and our parents and stakeholders that volunteer their time and support our schools as well as our businesses that support our schools. We could not do what we do without a supportive community. And Coleman, we have that here in Lebanon and Wilson County. Well, we have your support here once a month, and I appreciate you coming out and sharing your thoughts with us. We might have been a little bit more informative this morning had you had your board meeting last night, but you've told us what's on the agenda.
Somewhat. I hadn't covered it all, but we will have a few business items, but we'll have to get to those next time.
All right. Okay. Well, we do appreciate you coming out, keeping us informed, and seems like things are going really well, and we just say keep up the good work.
Terrific. Coleman, thank you.
That's going to do it for Tuesday. Be warm, be safe, and until tomorrow, I wish you a terrific day.